Hello friends, how are you all? I hope you all are fine. Welcome to YouTube channel English Literature Bilingual. In the respective video, we are going to talk about Rudyard Kipling, who is one of the most important writers and famous as well. The topics which we are going to discuss in this lecture are: who was Rudyard Kipling, his biography, his major works, his writing style, his major themes as well. So without wasting any single minute, let's start our lecture. Rudyard Kipling, who was born in 30 December 1865 and died in 18 January 1936. He was recipient of Nobel Prize in Literature and he received that prize in 1907. He was an English journalist, short story writer, poet and novelist. He was born in British India where he drew inspiration for a lot of his work, such as one of the most famous books is Kim. Anyhow, Kipling had deep personal connections to India, having been born and raised in Mumbai, formerly called Bombay. Until he was 5 years old, he was sent back to England for schooling from age 6 to 16, but then returned to India, taking up a job as a journalist in Lahore, where his father worked as the curator of the Cultural Museum. Furthermore, Kipling's writing career took off over the subsequent 6 years, and by 1889, he had saved enough money to relocate to London and pursue a literary life. And by the time Kipling produced Kim in 1900 to 1901, moreover, he was already one of the most popular novelists of his days. And among his works, Kim was unique. And it is a still unique work. Anyhow, in 1907, he received a Nobel Prize in Literature, and after receiving that prize, he turned most of his attention to writing poetry and short stories. After that, in 1910, he produced volume of poetry that contained If, one of his most important poems. Kipling kept writing until his final years in the 1930s, though none of his later pieces achieved the same level of popularity as the works he produced at the peak of his career. Now, let us discuss some of his major works. You can see the names of Kipling's important works on the screen. Number 1, The Jungle Book, published in 1894, and then Just So Stories, 1902, publication date, and then Kim, 1901, which is most successful work. After that, his most important short story is The Man Who Would Be King, 1888. He wrote many works, but these are some of his important works. His poems include Mandalay, 1890, Gangadin, 1890, The Ghosts of the Copybook Headings, 1919, The White Man's Burden, 1899, and If, 1910. These are some of his major works. Now let us talk about his writing style. His style was encouraging. His tone is encouraging. As we know that Rudyard Kipling was born in Bombay, India in 1865, and at the age of 5, Kipling was taken to England to live in a foster home with his younger sister. And for the 5 years that he was forced to live there, he was constantly bullied by his foster mother and foster brother. This influential time of his childhood greatly affects his writing style. Kipling later returned to India and was reunited with his parents. And from that time period, whatsoever he has written contained encouraging tone. After that, autobiographical, which is an again important feature of his writing. Basically, he traveled a lot, and many of his short stories based on his travels. For example, A Trip Across a Continent, another his important work, which is based on autobiography, based on his adventure. Moreover, the most important feature of his style is patriotic. He was a patriotic. We can see this in his writings as well. He was a strong supporter of patriotism and imperialism. This is reflected in many of his stories, including The Rescue of Puffles and A Wayside Comedy. Kipling constantly refers to the military in several of his stories, and he is also known as a strong supporter of the British Empire. Even though he never served in British military, but his older son was killed in World War I. So in short, we can say that his style is encouraging, autobiographical and patriotic. His important themes are love, death, religion, spirituality, nature, beauty, aging, desire, identity, self, loyalty, race, cunning and cleverness, appearances, foreignness and the other, youth, duty, spirituality. These are some of his important themes which can be traced out in all of his works. So, I hope this lecture proves to be helpful for you. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this video, then please subscribe our channel. Thank you so much. Take care. Stay tuned.